So did you guys hear about that Silent Hills?
Womp
Rest in peace.
womp.
Rip.
Oh.
I heard the game's not dead, but
Yeah, to
Kojima's
be
not
fair,
with it.
well, it's not just Kojima. It's
Kojima
it
was
was
a
based
huge
off
part
of
it.
a
I mean,
tweet that someone sent out. That was a quote from Del
Guillermo
Toro,
Del Toro, yep.
at some event he was at, saying that it wasn't going to happen, meaning he was not a part of it anymore. So there's still a chance it could still come out, but then it kind of bothers me that they're pulling PT. So that's kind of bad news.
Well, that was a huge appeal about it too. At least for me, I'm a
Del
huge
Toro,
fan of just Silent Hill in general, and just the fact that two huge names were tied to it: Kojima, Del Toro,
Yeah.
and now it's just kind of like in this weird. It may happen, it may not. I mean, after watching that demo, that ugh.
Well, yeah, that's
got a lot of people like, what is this? Oh man.
Well, not only
Silent
that,
Hill.
like watching the demo, being super just floored by it, and then finding out that those two worked on it
Yeah.
was really impressive, and it really got me hyped for it. And then now that Kojima's not with Konami, and then Del Toro's walking out, like if they do end up making this game, is it even gonna resemble anything of what they were?
I think it's going to turn out to be a lot tamer than what they envisioned. Like, they started out saying, oh, we want a game that's going to make people piss themselves.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and they're
And
like,
they just
no,
came
we
out
wanna
and said,
make you
no, we
shit
want to make
yourself.
people shit themselves.
Yeah.
They said, if we don't care, we don't want to make a game where most people hype it down and make it really tame to where everybody will play it. But they're just like, oh, fuck this. We're going to make a game that, if you don't want to play it, don't fucking play it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't gonna
Yeah.
tiptoe around it. They were gonna.
Well, and that's something I think that the horror genre really needs. I mean, or needed at the
You
moment.
mean
we don't
Evil
have-
Within didn't do it for you?
But anyway, I mean, coming from a long line of survival horror, just in general, Resident Evil, your older Resident Evils, your, Fear. The first Fear was like, whoa, it totally
was
scared
good.
the crap out of me. But, I feel like now the survival horror genre is more of an action-y,
Yes.
type.
Thanks to
mishmash
Resident
of
Evil, like they're the only
yeah.
ones that are still putting out survival horror games.
Yeah, or games like Fatal
They've turned
Frame.
it into
I
action.
really wish Fatal Frame caught on a little more, at least with the later games in the series, because those are really
They're still making them,
creepy.
but
not in America.
well, no, isn't the newest one supposed to be come out?
Supposed to.
in
I mean, I
America?
saw a lot of the information for release in Japan, but for PT, just to kind of go into this weird sort of purgatory, like who knows if it's going to come out, it makes me kind of sad, just because, like I said, it would do really well to kind of revitalize the horror genre. So.
Not to be fair though, too, like it was just a concept demo, so it didn't necessarily reflect what the actual game was going to be.
It's true.
But at the same time, the trailer that they released for it was also in first person, kind of experiencing the hallways and stuff like that too. So
Well, maybe if they keep Daryl on board,
Daryl.
Norman Reedus, maybe he's the last hope. Maybe if
yeah, but he didn't have any.
Hey, he was
part to do
featured
with
in
the
the trailer.
story.
Okay, that's all he needed to do is just show his face, and everybody wanted to buy it.
Maybe it was Glenn.
Oh, there you
I was
go.
actually excited that it was going to be the
Represent.
next AAA horror game that was going to be actual legitimate survival horror.
Right.
I mean, there's really good ones that are just indie games like Outlast. Outlast, yeah.
Outlast, yeah.
Yeah,
Outlast.
Outlast.
Say Goutlast.
Oh, that's what I heard.
I heard that. I was like, what?
Outlast.
Outlast.
Got Outlast that gout.
Were you- Will you outlive your gout?
But Outlast was
The
amazing.
gout man's coming.
Oh, I can't walk anywhere. This gout.
My feet just fell off. No, I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
The Outlast was amazing. It was well polished, especially for being an indie game. It was worth the $20, even more. They would have charged $40 for that. I would have paid it, especially for the DLC too. That added even more gameplay. I actually thought the
DLC was
the DLC
exceptionally long too.
Yeah, the DLC was basically like another game.
Another
It was
game.
at least half as long as
Yeah.
the original.
Well, the whole PT Silent Hills concept, it was kind of like a reimagining of Silent Hill. I mean, there's a whole bit on the lore of Silent Hill in general, of it being individualized based on character. But with reimagining, re-releases, reboots, I mean, do you guys think that some of them are necessary? I mean, I heard about Gears of War. Online they're saying
just
it's not
announced that, yeah.
necessarily a reboot. It's more of kind of like a to get everybody back
New and
into
improved.
it. Yeah. I mean,
So like a remastering.
remastering like Resident Evil. I know they just the HD remake of
that
that
looked fantastic,
looked
too.
really good. Tomb Raider, we mentioned that a little bit earlier. I mean, Tomb Raider was really good as far as the reboot on that. But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? Are there some good ones, some bad ones that you guys have experienced?
I don't necessarily think it's a good or a bad thing. A lot of people may not have gotten the chance to play the original when it came out. Maybe they were too young or they just didn't have access to it. So being able to play it now, especially like a lot of the classics, like they just re-released like all the Devil May Crys and
They're bringing back 4 again for
yeah,
Xbox One.
yeah. 4 was just okay though. 1 and 3 were
Oh, yeah.
good. Yeah, so I think it's a cool way for people to be able to play stuff that maybe they didn't get a chance to before, and then for people like us who have played them to maybe get a little more out of it or just relive it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I also think a lot of times it's just a cash grab as well. As much as I love the idea that they just brought back Borderlands, I think it was a little too soon.
But that's a generational thing. Like, you know, I played it on my Xbox 360. I really would love to play it again on my One. So, I mean, you know, some people who maybe skipped a generation.
Oh yeah,
to
I mean,
re-
I would tell you, I would buy a brand new copy of Skyrim on the Xbox One if it
Oh,
came
yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah.
But
With
I
mods.
mean,
You guys can just
Yeah.
buy it on
On a free
PC.
month.
I was like PC mods. There it is.
but you know, Borderlands 2 came out 2.5 years ago, and then pre-sequel came out like 6 months ago,
Yeah.
and they got
So, like, too
re-released on the
soon
One.
kind
So
of thing, or-
I liked it just because of the fact that I didn't get to play pre-sequel.
Right.
So it finally brought it to the console I was playing on.
Oh.
So then I could actually enjoy it.
But then you have things like Kingdom Hearts. I mean, they've done all these remixes, these 0.5s, and you know, a lot of people are like, "Where the hell is 3?" Like, instead of maybe releasing these HD, you know, things, which might be kind of like your cash pulls until something like 3
Well,
comes
with,
out.
with something like Kingdom Hearts, the big ones that they re-released were the ones that were on like handhelds that
Mm-hmm.
weren't actual console releases. So that I understand. But yeah, they're totally dragging ass on Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think the different things have their place. Like you mentioned the cash grab remasters
Mhm.
definitely are a cash grab. It's, you know, to recapture those guys like us who still have the nostalgia from,
Yeah.
you know, games of the past.
updated
you know,
graphics.
Yeah, you know, update the graphics and then also just bringing them onto a system we can play them on.
Yeah.
Reboots are tricky.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider pulled
Tomb
it
Raider
off
was phenomenal.
hard. That game was great.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry didn't pull it off. No,
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, so reboots are tricky because you have to not only capture a new audience, but you have to appease the old audience, or
Suffer the consequence.
they will shove their boots up your ass on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Going into the cash grab thing too, I think also, apart from being a cash grab half the time, it's also a good way because a lot of people like to complete their collections, and if a series spans 2 or 3 generations, it's a good way to like compile it and put it all into one place. But also, I noticed they'll often do it if the new one in the series is coming out a few months down the road.
Like Halo.
Yeah.
Now I have a reason to play Halo again because
I want to buy
I've
a
never
PS4.
got to finish Halo.
Yeah, but
I
then
wanna
I
buy-
heard there were issues. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I want to buy a PS4 again just to get Uncharted if they're doing the actual
Yeah.
Yes.
HD remake.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And actually, you mentioned Kingdom Hearts earlier. When Kingdom Hearts originally came out, I didn't have a PS2.
Mhm.
The only time I got to play it was at a friend's house, and now that it's been re-released, I have it.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool. I've gotten to like play that game. I still haven't beaten it because I'm terrible, but it's been fun. It's been fun.
Now, do you think they should charge full price for something like that? 'Cause
Hell no,
when-
not ever.
What was it? Final Fantasy X, 10-2 HD came out. It was like $40 for the both of them.
I think that's
completely
reasonable.
fair.
Yeah, that's definitely reasonable. A lot of times the remasters, I mean, all they're doing is updating the graphical assets, so they're not making
half the time. It's not even that. They're just upscaling. They're not even like going in and
yeah. So
Yeah.
so for them to charge full price would be absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
I think it depends on the game. Like Borderlands came out with both of the games and every single piece of
Yeah, that
DLC
was-
they came out with.
Great value.
Yeah.
$60 for like $200 worth of
Oh, yeah.
content.
It was 2 games, but for $60.
Borderlands 2, Borderlands
all
pre-sequel,
their
and every
DLC.
single DLC that came out for the games.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But like if they came out with Final Fantasy X and X-2 for $60.
That's pushing it.
That's pushing it a little bit. If it was
$30 a game.
$60 per game,
Oh hell no.
yeah, that would be absolutely absurd. Nobody would ever pay that.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But does that also depend on the game? Do you think people would pay full price for like a remastered, which they've still been waiting for, of like Final Fantasy VII?
I think people
I think
would
people would
absolutely.
pay out the ass for
yeah,
that,
I think
dude.
people would pay $100 for
I
a
was just
remastered
gonna
copy.
say that. I mentioned that to Krys one time. I go, if they put $100 price tag on it for the standard edition, I think I would buy it.
Yeah.
Just because it's Final Fantasy VII. So, well, as far as like reboots, reimagining things, like next one in line, we have Daredevil, Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix.
So good.
Super good. I mean, I've
I haven't
talked
seen a
to.
bad review
Absolutely
of that
not.
at all.
I have friends who aren't even necessarily into, the comics at all, or even just anything comic themed, TV, movies, and they watched the show and they absolutely fell in love with it. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
I'm just impressed with the amount of brutality they actually went with.
Yes.
I mean, they should have probably marketed it towards kids and stuff like that, but this is not really anywhere near meant for kids. In my
No,
opinion.
I think they hit it spot on for the audience. Everyone's watching Game of Thrones now. Everyone's watching, all
Everyone,
these, adult themed,
Yeah.
super gritty
Violence.
kind of shows. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not to say the show is like super violent, but when it is violent,
not
it's
tolerable.
pretty
So-
bad. Like,
The choreography in it. What episode was that?
Episode
3?
two, the hallway.
Yeah.
Oh, when
the
he's like
hallway.
half
Oh,
unconscious.
spoiler
the whole time.
alert! Sorry, spoiler
I
alert.
haven't watched any of it yet.
Hyton.
Yeah, I haven't watched
just
it either.
suffice it to say,
Earmuffs.
he's fighting guy. No, you don't have to. You don't have to cover your. He's fighting these guys in a hallway, and it's all done in one shot, and it's phenomenal. The camera work is amazing.
And the choreography, I mentioned this to Chris the other day. I was like, it doesn't feel too
It's not Adam West.
style. No, no, but I mean like
He doesn't feel like a
stylized to where it
legitimate
feels like
superhero.
A dance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
He doesn't
very
feel over the
real.
top. He feels-
It's very
yeah.
grounded.
it's raw.
There-
like
Yeah, there's only like a handful of points where it's like, okay, why would he do that in a fight?
well, to where it's and it's nothing against the rest of the stuff in the cinematic universe or just superheroes or fight scenes in general, but the fight scenes themselves just feel really raw and natural as to like if you punch this guy, he's gonna spit out some blood, he's gonna go down with that punch, and it didn't feel too much like a dance, you know what I mean? So
Oh, and they're fast. Like,
Yeah.
none of that Batman bullshit where the freaking punch takes 30 seconds to get to you.
Yeah.
but yeah, just overall the cast just really good. I mean, a lot of people will try to compare it to the movie from a long time ago. It's nothing
There's-
like the
it's
movie.
apples
I
and
can tell you.
oranges.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah,
There's
no,
no
it's,
comparison.
Ben Affleck.
yeah, just with the bar set that I don't want to say low, but I mean with the bar set with that movie, I mean this just surpasses that like tenfold.
I mean,
if
it's
not more.
like the Batman compared to the Dark Knight series would be kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
a fair comparison there. I mean, if you're looking at the original Batman movies and comparing that to Dark Knight, it's a world of difference.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a totally different universe in the like cinematic series.
Mm-hmm.
What I really liked about it too is it actually makes me feel stuff about characters in the show. Like I thought this one character was a piece of shit, him and his brother, and then all of a sudden it just turns it around, and I'm just like, oh my god, I feel so bad for this
Yeah.
guy.
And just in general, and this is again no spoiler, just with Wilson Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio,
The Kingpin.
just absolutely floors me, his performance. I mean, we haven't even
Yeah.
watched the whole series yet, but again, nothing against Michael Clark Duncan and his portrayal in the movie, but with the show, you
Rest in
really
peace.
yeah it really just makes you understand the characters a little bit.
They
and
humanized him.
Yes, and
He's
and
very
really
real.
understand him, but then you can kind of see like how twisted, like all the the madness in pretty much everyone in the show. There's a lot of stuff that
He's
goes
not
on.
just mustachioed bad
The guy
guy
with all the
tying women
money
up and
and-
putting them on train tracks.
Right,
He's
he's-
very real. He has real motives and real
issues and-
reasons.
I know there was a thing that went out about the series. One of the writers involved with it, I believe, was talking about the end of the Man Without Fear comic arc, and he mentioned that I haven't actually read this arc, but toward the end of the arc, Daredevil ends up killing somebody, or not killing him, but he doesn't save him, and he mentioned that's sort of the feeling he wanted to go with in the show was that
tiptoeing that line.
Trying to
Yeah,
resist it.
Daredevil's
Yeah.
one bad day away from crossing the line. If I remember right, that was the quote. I don't know, and I think they did a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
I kind of like how they explain his power to the fact that all of his senses are enhanced and kind of varying from the movie a little bit, where it's not entirely like sonar or however they had it. It's
I don't even remember the movie. I blocked that out.
I know that a lot of people try to
But
just erase it.
I just like how again they based it all in realism and they're not throwing it in your face. Like anytime he hears something or I almost said see something, hears something or feels something, it's not like, I don't know, like you when someone uses their powers in some other show, like it zooms in, like they see super like all the molecules or something, like it's just like, oh hey, he perked his ears up a little bit, he's hearing something. So it's not in your face about it.
I also really appreciated that they didn't spend too much time on his origin stuff of it. They covered it, but they're not like, oh, let's spend 3 episodes on explaining of all
Right.
his stuff. They kind of throw in it
Right.
a little bit here and there.
You're not like, okay, let's get back to the action
Yeah.
that I care about right now.
Exactly.
They do kind of an Arrow-esque thing with it, where they flip back to
Yeah.
his
Like
background
something
and then come back to
triggers
the
a
action.
memory, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that not only the one character gets their background shown either.
Truth.
Well, as far as like our previous Daredevil, it kind of brings us to the Batman trailer. Have you guys seen the new trailer for Batman and Batman
there's a
v
trailer?
Superman?
You mean
yeah.
Batman versus
No, I didn't
Batman
know there was
versus
a new
Superman.
trailer.
That's what I said.
Wait.
It was pretty good.
Batman versus
It didn't show
Superman.
it didn't show a lot again, but I don't know, my curiosity's peaked. I was definitely open to whatever they want to give us. I reserve judgment until I actually see it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, especially because of coming off of the Daredevil topic, a lot of people gave, Ben Affleck a lot of guff for.
I understand where a lot of people are coming from, but
Yeah.
again, like he's come in my eyes, he's come a long way
Since Daredevil.
since Daredevil.
Since Jersey Girl.
Oh,
Since Gia,
Geely.
Geely, whatever.
Fantastic.
And then the podcast just turned into trashing.
No, I respected it.
Phantasm was a great movie. Or wait, Phantoms. That's what it was.
It's a
Phantoms.
fucking bomb and Phantoms, yeah.
But seeing this trailer, and you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't. But with this trailer, it actually, instead of just showing a picture of him in the bat suit, it makes it a little more real. And you're able to kind of see what sort of portrayal they're going with. Still kind of along the lines of that dark, that Batman.
Yeah, it seemed like they were trying to hit a little bit of the Nolan gritty Batman, the gravelly voiced.
The only problem I had with it, his voice sounded a little mechanical. I mean, that's just nitpicking. It sounded like
I'll have to check it out again.
Yeah, it sounded like he was wearing like a
Listen closer.
synthesizer or something like that. And I don't think Batman ever talks like that. Like saying I'm gonna see if you bleed.
Oh yeah.
Like Batman's
Oh.
never really been menacing like that.
Dark Knight.
Have you read Batman?
I haven't read the comics. I mean, just from what I've seen in
He can
movies.
get pretty
If-
dark.
Yeah, if most of what your experience with Batman is either the cartoons or the Tim
Yeah,
Burton
yeah.
stuff,
It's night and day.
yeah, it's he's pretty rough in the comics, in
Yeah,
later
especially
comics, not
lately,
like
yeah.
the original stuff, but like the original stuff had like the golly. You sure showed him Batman.
You ever watched those ones?
Cheaper.
Wait, no, I did watch the Adam West one. Yes, that was pretty funny. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Definitely evolved like over time. I mean, and making news, we have Jared Leto with his new Joker look. I mean, what do you guys think about that? You see that floating around, lots of parodies.
I say it's one picture. That's not how he's gonna look in the movie, as far as like lighting and stuff. So it's probably gonna be darker. And like I said, it's one picture. He looks cartoony, but I'm open. Like if he can play the part, I don't care what he looks like.
I'm curious if they've officially made the announcement yet that the clowns are being renamed the Juggalos.
Womp womp.
No. No, you know what though? I trashed Heath Ledger really hard before seeing The Dark Knight
Rest in
because
peace.
I thought that was
I
a
know.
terrible match, and I was wrong. I was wrong
Yeah,
as shit.
a lot of
He was
people were wrong,
amazing.
yeah.
So maybe it'll be great if I'm going off just that picture. I say fuck you.
Yeah, and that's what I've been seeing is a lot of people like will judge it, and I was the same way when I heard about Heath Ledger. At first, I was like, okay, what? You know, no, there's
That guy
no
from
way.
The Knight's Tale.
There's no way. And then when I watched the movie, he just proved everyone wrong.
Yeah.
And it, you know, but then, you know, maybe some people will be right. Maybe it won't be as good as we think. But if this is for Suicide Squad, right? I
Yes.
mean, there's going to be a tremendous cast to go along with it. So, I mean, to judge an entire movie is what I've been seeing based on this depiction of you know, Joker. And I think was it you were saying that earlier, that the tattoos are a little much.
Yeah.
Especially the damaged one on his forehead.
Well, like some of them are just in reference to the comic
Right.
itself too.
Yeah, it's weird.
But to fully judge an entire movie based on this one picture of this one cast member, I'm just like,
We don't know.
And
exactly.
Yeah, like I
Be
said,
like
just
judging a
wait,
game
wait
off
and
of the
see.
beta.
And actually, popping back a little bit, I was totally cool with the Ben Affleck choice. Like a lot of people bashed that right away.
I scratched my head
lot
at
of
it,
Yes.
but I
stared
wasn't
for a
totally
while.
opposed to it.
I'm gonna go with, for one, he's got the Bruce Wayne jawline, but
It's got that butt chin
he's
going on.
also a comic book fan, so
Yeah.
I think he'll have respect for the role. I think, you know, if he's, you know, not sucked into another Daredevil, then I think
he
he'll
learned his
do a
lesson.
great job with
Jinx.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could be cool. I also think that Superman versus Batman stories are the most boring stories in comic book history, but it could be great. Who knows?
Hopefully.
I'm pseudo optimistic.
Hopefully. I mean, between Suicide Squad, you have, you know, the Batman versus Superman. They're really going up against Marvel, you know, MCU, Daredevil, Avengers. I mean, we have Avengers coming out this weekend, and it's already been just smashing international, you know, box office numbers. And, you know, just, I'm super excited for this one.
Oh, that's right.
Do you
It's like
s-
less than a week away,
Yeah, it's
right?
It's
Friday.
on the 1st.
Oh man, that's where all this
Um,
hype came from.
Hype.
Oh.
I don't know,
Hashtag
as
hype.
far as like the DC stuff, they really need to step up their game, and I think they've realized that after all the success Marvel's having. They've started it with Arrow and Flash.
Arrow and Flash are doing really well.
They're starting to learn what they need to do.
Joe's over there shaking his head. What's going on
I
here?
don't really care much for Arrow and Flash.
Really?
I think they're a little too drama.
Yeah.
It's CW.
It's the network. It's the network. It's selling. I haven't started Flash yet, so I can't really like mention any, you know, feelings about that. But with Arrow, at least from what I've seen so far, I don't think it's too bad. It's actually, I'm actually pro Marvel, but watching a show like Arrow, it's actually made me interested
Yeah.
in a character like Oliver Queen. I had no idea who Green Arrow was until I watched that show.
Yeah,
For real?
Honestly.
I'd only seen a few.
DC, I mean, I'm pro Marvel, so I mean, DC, I know your basics, and yeah, Green Arrow, I was like, I don't know anything about him.
I'd only seen a few episodes of Arrow, and then I saw a couple episodes into Flash, and they met up, and
Yeah, the crossovers.
when they left each other, it was just the dumbest thing I probably had ever seen.
Oh, no.
Arrow's on the side of a building, staring at him. Flash run off with this stupid look on his face. It's like, well, cool. I'm like,
I meet again. Ding. Takes you to
Well,
this Adam West.
It was a
cheesy-
reference to when Arrow took off. Nah, F you.
Well, no, and
You just
Steve
don't get
is
it, Joe. You don't
Steve's
understand.
a huge fan of the CW shows, and he's
Yeah.
you're pretty much caught up on both, right?
Oh yeah.
So
That's
it's interesting to see.
That's
both.
why I hate winter hiatuses.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They're the killer.
Yeah, I like those shows a lot. The actually the current story arc is ridiculous, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Well,
At least for Arrow, Flash is actually getting a little bit boring.
Well, I know I kind of removed this topic because I thought we were gonna like touch on it next week. But as far as like comic book TV shows, you know, we brought up Arrow, we brought up Flash. Now,
Daredevil.
and Daredevil is just like competing, and well, with Marvel on Marvel side, you have Daredevil, you have
Agent Carter,
Agents of Shield, and then of course all the huge movies and stuff. I mean, and then on the the DC side, you have you have Arrow, you have Flash, which are doing really well, but then you also have Gotham. Which yes, and we have Steve with an eye roll over here, but
That's the topic for another time.
definitely a
Gotham.
topic for another time. I think I need to catch up on Gotham before I can really dive into a full opinion of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the Avengers, I mean, are you guys as excited as I am?
Of course.
yes.
It's the
Amanda?
Avengers.
What?
Amanda here. Here comes the train that she's gonna get thrown under. Amanda has actually not seen the Avengers the first time.
Or most of the
I haven't-
MCU movies.
I know.
I haven't seen any of the shows or. I'm very like,
Shedding a
She's
tear.
too cool.
I'm just intimidated by this universe.
In her defense, though, she's seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's amazing. I love it.
Times.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the DC universe, except the characters have depth.
Oh, shots fired.
Not sponsored by DC Comics.
Oh, by the way, DC, if you want me to change my opinion, you need to come up with an equivalent to Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, there you go.
Just saying.
Touche.
Well, you were going to say Marvel Universe. I think that's part of the thing that DC is missing is Marvel figured it out. They're tying everything together.
Oh, the
Even
Marvel
the
multiverse.
TV shows, they're tying everything together, and that's what's keeping people drawn to it.
Like, oh, hey, I saw this in this movie, or that's like in Daredevil. We noticed there's like a reference
There's
to
a
the
lot of
battle for
references in Daredevil.
the Battle of New York, rather,
Yep.
for the Avengers. Spoiler alert. No, they just make reference to the first Avengers and the destruction that took over New York. So that was just really cool that they
even
tie
reference
those
their
little bits
characters at
in.
one point. They say, "You don't have an iron suit."
Yeah.
Or a
Oh, yeah.
magic hammer.
That was another thing one of the developers had a quote about out there somewhere. I don't remember where I read it. I read it though. But he was saying, like after the calamity that happened in that movie that happened all over Manhattan,
Amanda
you should
needs to
totally
see
you.
Don't feel bad, man. I've only watched the first Avengers too.
But at least you've seen the
Hey.
first Avengers.
Okay, after the thing that happened in Avengers,
All that bad stuff.
There's a battle in New York.
Yes.
okay, they wanted to explore what happens. Not like directly where the battle happened, but what happened 30 blocks away,
Yeah.
and how did those people feel about it, and how did that affect their world?
Yeah, that's. I saw an interview with Charlie Cox and Deborah Ann Woll talking about. That's the two of the main characters in the show.
Daredevil and yeah. Okay.
And they were talking about how they're tied to the MCU, but they're not necessarily like in it. They're dealing with the after effects. They're like the human part of it. They're dealing with living in a world with superheroes and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
If I could like briefly touch on that topic that we were talking about yesterday, is and kind of because we brought Gotham up. Gotham has had a couple the full season order, like 20 plus episodes. You have a show like Daredevil, it's 13 episodes. And it's super captivating. Like in a short amount of time on, the paid service Netflix, you have a show that has just pretty much brought in everybody. And then you have a network show that has so much time to really expand and give depth to their show. And it seems to kind of be like a hit or miss sort of thing.
That's been my issue with Gotham is that it doesn't know what it wants to be. It's trying to be too many things, and it's not any of them right now, from what I've seen. I stopped watching it a few weeks ago, but it's trying to be, a serialized show about, these characters. It's trying to be police procedural, but there's really no procedure. There's all these things that it wants to be, but it's...
One of the things I think they really need to realize is that they're allowed to be derivative from the DC universe.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to be completely accurate to the comics because...
Oh, no, that's not what I'm expecting. I just want a good show.
I think one of the big problems they've been running into is that they're trying to remain fairly accurate.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Like, we've heard these origin stories before.
Yeah, they're trying to do too many nods and winks to the audience. They need to just
you
tell
only
the
crush
story.
that fourth wall into so much dust.
Yeah.
The other fact about Daredevil that I find pretty crazy is the fact that, was it like a year ago that they barely got the rights back from it, from whatever studio had the rights to it.
Was it Sony had it before?
I think it was Sony.
Probably.
They were told them, okay, you guys have 3 months to make a new movie off of it, or we're taking the rights away from you. And Sony failed to do that. And in that short amount of time, they put together Daredevil, the TV show, and it's that awesome.
Well, I think going back to what you were talking about, Kristen, with, this show has half as many episodes as a standard show, and it's leaps and bounds better than half of the shows on television. It's kind of like going back to Game of Thrones, where it's a super condensed season, so they don't have any time for fluff.
Like
they
a
have
game,
to hit
yeah, fluff.
all of the points throughout the season. There's no time for filler. There's no time for Monster of the Week episodes. It's all just you get what you get.
Well, that's what kind of sucks because with like Game of Thrones, isn't Walking Dead? Isn't that a short season? Yeah. So it's like in a short amount of time, you have shows that are just extremely epic, and you want to see more of it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if they ended up getting a 22, episode season order, would it end up being like shows like Gotham? Or
We would. I think we would be excited that we were getting more episodes, but then by the halfway point in the season, we'd be like, okay, is this done yet? Or
Like, I'm tired of seeing this.
Game of Thrones couldn't possibly do that because they would catch up to George R.R. Martin. Way
I know.
too fast.
They already
Touche.
did.
Next season, yeah,
But,
they're gonna be.
Walking Dead, they
Spoiling
they
stuff.
still
This
have some
season
stuff
was
to cover.
boring.
So
Yeah.
I didn't like this season of Walking Dead.
Really? Okay, no
spoilers,
spoilers.
yeah.
But
Okay,
The
sorry.
season of
how do you?
Walking
No.
Dead-
How do you guys feel? Because
The season of Walking Dead was so good just because of the fact that it was really close to the source material.
Oh,
I felt there was too much talking. Talk.
girl, this is the
So-
Walking Dead,
Talk,
not the
talk,
Talking
talk.
Dead.
Zombie.
I think me and Steve are the only ones that actually read the comics.
Oh,
so
okay,
far.
I haven't started it yet.
I'm not sure how far you are in it.
I'm pretty far in the comics. I don't know if I've seen the most recent season of Walking Dead or not.
You don't know.
Have you watched new episodes in the past few months?
No.
There you go.
Okay.
So, okay, it did start back up.
Yeah,
All right,
it's finished.
I mostly
isn't
didn't
it?
care because
Yeah.
I've seen the
Season
comic.
finale.
or-
Yeah, it stuck pretty good
That's
well
fine.
to the source material this time.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys watch any of the interviews of the Avengers this
my
week?
God.
Oh,
Yes.
All 5 of them
Oh.
had very interesting interviews.
Well, I watched 2.
To the Robert Downey.
I saw the
and
Robert
Chris-
Downey one.
I saw the
Chris
Robert
Evans
Downey
and-
one, and then I read the transcripts from the other one.
The other ones, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, Scarlett and Mark Ruffalo. They had like the easiest, like nice, friendly one.
They both seem like BFFs now.
Yeah.
Seeing them
Not
together.
that they're spending a lot of time together. Yeah, I
The guy
kind of
talking to
briefly
Robert
watched-
Downey Jr. was an asshole.
He was
Yeah.
an idiot.
I don't understand why it even had to be brought up.
That if you look around online, that guy's got a lot of
Yeah.
videos of
Really?
him
Alright.
doing like
Being
the
a
same
dumbass.
kind of shit.
Did
Like,
you're looking?
He's probably
around
just trying to be
confused.
edgy or yeah,
Did you watch it?
whatever.
Not that one.
Oh, okay.
I just saw. I don't even remember who it was.
She said it doesn't have Star Lord in it.
I don't even know this Avengers stuff. I'm all about.
What is
cartoons.
this Avengers?
What's
Well, basically, with Robert Downey Jr., the interviewer decided to bring up his past,
His
his
relationship
that
with his
dark
dad.
Personal
past,
questions.
Yeah.
and it got just really unnecessary and awkward. And,
He left like a boss.
yeah, he was just all
I-
bye and took
Sorry,
off.
what are we
I
doing
love his
here?
outro thing. The whole
Bye.
thing is like
Yeah.
just like, what are we doing here? Okay, bye.
Bye.
Well, yeah, screw that. Fuck that. No.
And you just fucking sat there laughing at him like you didn't do anything wrong.
I'm just gonna say, right after I watched that, I watched Quentin Tarantino rip
Did
into
too.
that same guy.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was
Not
amazing.
Who is this guy?
Just
Just some
guy for Channel
dick-
4.
Yeah, Channel
Yeah.
4 News.
It's,
or-
I think he's trying
Guru
to
something.
like advance his career or something
Yeah,
because
that's what
all
I
he
was telling you.
does
He's trying
is
to be
like the,
edgy and
all
Hey,
he
he's
does is
getting
like
views.
the movie kind of the hype train before big movies come out thing. That's like
press
his
stories,
job,
yeah.
but he always does that shit. He's done it to Quentin Tarantino, Angelina Jolie. I think I saw one on there with the
That-
dude from the first Iron Man movie.
Oh, Terrence
Don-
Howard?
Yes.
the guy who left because
Of
he
money?
wanted too much money.
Yeah.
Well, aside from Robert Downey Jr. and the nice interview with Scarlett and Mark, there was the interview with Jeremy Renner and Chris Evans
About a fake fictional character.
making really just sexist comments about a
Here-
fictional character.
Here's my take on it. Was it a fake? It's a fake character. They're just talking shit. Whatever. I don't care what they have to say. But at the same time, they're also celebrities. They're a public face. They should know better than to say shit like that on camera.
I didn't watch the video, so I couldn't hear like the tone of their voice, but I read the transcripts, and the way I read it, I thought they were doing like an in-character thing. Like it was like the scorned Captain America and Hawkeye. Like
That's what it came out
You
to
know,
me as
half-
when I
How
when I watched
dare
it.
you.
yeah, like
They were just joking
after
around.
they were trying to pick up a girl in a bar, and she turned him down. So he goes back to his friends, and he's like, "Fucking lesbian." Like that's
the thing,
how I
like
read
I said
it.
though, like it just like they should know better. They're super celebrities. Come on, guys.
I don't know, but is it
Did
I
it
don't know that
bother
they
me?
necessarily
No,
have a
but-
responsibility to censor themselves. They should have known that they were going to get flack for it, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
But I don't know that they necessarily needed to take any other approach.
I don't think they deserve as much slack as they're getting for it.
Like this is
Like it's in GIF form.
GIF. Yep.
She's a complete whore.
Yep.
Well,
They're
that's
saying slut.
I like how
She has a
she.
prosthetic.
Well, no, I like how
has a prosthetic.
she
leg
may or
anyway,
may
right?
not have been with like 3 guys, and then you look at Tony Stark, and he's a hero.
And it's not only Tony Stark. I actually made this case, to some other like nerds, comic nerds and stuff. But I mean, there's a huge chart that just puts together a fraction of the Marvel like relationships,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, there's all these
Everybody's been
ties.
with everybody.
Bunch of
Everybody's been with
sluts.
Absolutely. Well,
Friggin'
no, go ahead.
Peter Parker's like the nerd of the Marvel universe, and he's been with like 7 or 8 girls.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's one of those things that it was handled the wrong way. Again, nobody's perfect. I mean, some people maybe they didn't think about it completely before they said it. I mean, I know I do that sometimes. Like, oh man, maybe I should have said it, and then they just go with it. I don't know. As I said, has nothing to do with my huge.
I
crush
do
on
think
Chris
that
Evans.
because of who they are, though, it if some other celebrity that isn't as loved as these guys are right now
Okay.
had
All
said
right.
something like that, then it might not have gone over
Okay.
as smooth. Like, this is like all blown up in a day, and then everyone forgot about it like the next day. So
Everyone's still gonna go see the movie, except
Oh,
maybe
hell yeah.
Amanda because she needs to see the first one.
They could actually genuinely be sexist, and I would still go see the movie.
But yeah, I mean, they're human.
it's whatever.
Also, by the way, breaking down the Black Widow's character, she's a femme fatale spy.
It's
like
in her name.
yeah, she's actually supposed to be kind of a slut. Like that's her job.
Yeah.
Like the minute she's introduced in the Iron Man comics, she's like flirting with Tony Stark, trying to like get him separated from his lab so her partner guy can go fuck things up.
Well, there you go, and there you have it.
Cool, man.
Tune in next week when we'll come back with news that from the week prior. Yeah, stuff and words, and maybe not so much talking because Hyton may or may not be here because of the talking.
God,
I might turn their channel. I don't know.
Tune in next week, and we may have a name for this.
That's true. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Bye. Talk to you next week.
check me out on youtube.com/IAmTheAvarice.
Ignore that. Ignore it.
Shut up.